So we worry about you and your injuries. Tell us the latest. You had to withdraw after injury in Ostrava. How is the injuries for you?
Actually, I'm happy to be back again. I thought I would miss New York again, but good thing was the injury wasn't so serious. It was just a muscle spasm, muscle cramp. But I had some good treatment, so I'm feeling is good. And the good thing was that even when I was in the treatment, I was still doing some good training.
And in fact, your manager, James Templeton, said that had Birmingham been a day or two later, you probably would have been fit enough to run.
Well, we just wanted to be sure, and we didn't want to take any other risk. So I was still feeling some little pain, but we thought maybe it would be too soon, so we decided to come here.
What are your memories of racing here last year? I think that was your first time at the Adidas Grand Prix.
This is my fourth year actually. Yeah, I've never missed since 2012 when I ran here one of my fastest races, 141. And the last 2 years has been tough because of terrible weather. But I'm happy because I've never missed this meet. And last year I started here before I moved on into the main season.
You've been an unusual champion, even in the context of 800 metres history, in that you set a world record in winning an Olympic title, which is without precedent in recent times. But you were also very, very dignified in defeat when you were beaten by Amos in the Commonwealth Games. Is that a part of your nature, that you're able to take triumph and defeat in the same manner?
Well, sports is all about competition, and when you are in that, track, actually, you just give your best. But last year was different because I was coming back from my injury, and I wasn't very fit. Though my program was, I wanted to compete in the Commonwealth Games, and I knew, okay, even though I'm not fit enough, but at least I still have a chance of either winning or becoming top 3. That is what I was sure of. So I think it was the right way also just to be in that competition and of course give my best, because sometimes I feel like, well, even me, I feel good, I feel happy when I'm winning, but I know even my colleagues who are with me in the competition, of course they have the same chance, so it's all about competition.
Do you have a fixed view on whether you're an outstanding championship racer, ability to go heats, finals and semi-finals as you'll have to do in Beijing, or do you prefer Grand Prix?
Well, I don't think I have a problem with that, and although sometimes in championships when you do the heats, semi-final, actually, you have to be very fit, to perform well in the final. But in the Grand Prix, you just go there fresh, one race, and you are done. So in a championships here, I think you have also to prepare in that mentality, and of course, if possible, have some races whereby you can do like heat, semi-final, and that's what we normally do in Kenya, like the Kenyan trials, and sometimes we have the nationals, so at least we practice that whereby we tackle the 3 events in 3 days or 2 days.
What are you hoping for tomorrow? The weather conditions look reasonable, you like to front run, you know the audience, you're familiar with the meeting. What are you hoping for?
Well, yeah, I'll be happy, tomorrow to get there, and the weather is the forecast. I think it's going to be fine. So looking forward for 143, and maybe I'll be happy to run a world lead.
And the final question we're going to ask every athlete here today, so we'll be checking everybody's answers, is if you could be good at one other athletic discipline other than your own, middle distance, what would it be?
Well, I don't know.
What do you like to watch in track and field? Sprints, jumps, throws?
Well, I'm a fan of watching 400 meters because it's one of the events I also admire a lot and sometimes I participate in.
And your father, of course, was a great 400 meter runner.
Yeah, and I have that kind of love for 400, and sometimes I feel like maybe if I was not good in 800, maybe I could have tried 400 meters.
Let's pass the baton over to RG. So somebody that's been the full championship round, won most things. You're still only 21. You've made a great transition from World Youth and World Junior champion. You've got a great record in the US, including Eugene just a couple of weeks ago. What are your hopes for tomorrow?
Just to come away with the win. My coach and I try to keep things really simple and don't really go for time. Just always say race, be a competitor, and just try to win.
This is close to being home turf for you, isn't it? You're a New Jersey girl. Does that make it extra special?
It does. Like a lot of my family are coming up. My team, actually, my high school team, they're running the 4x100, so it'll be nice to watch them, see some of the kids I went to high school with. So it's kind of like my second home. New York is.
How have you managed that transition from being an outstanding youth at under 17 level to at 21 being world leader?
I think it's just kind of been a gradual progression. My support team, my coach especially, he's done a good job of just taking it one step at a time and not pushing too much on me at one time, and just taking my time to try to be better each year.
And you took the decision quite early not to go into the NCAA system, but I think you are still taking university classes, so you're living a student lifestyle but without the sort of scholarship pressures perhaps.
Yeah, so it works out pretty much the same. I have a lot more free time on my hands, which is kind of weird. I need to pick up a hobby, but I have 3 semesters left, so.
I guess your big ambition is to just get through the qualification process, which is pretty brutal for American athletes. So what are your thoughts from tomorrow leading into the US trials?
Yeah, just get sharp, get ready, and be prepared for anything, because anything can happen. You know, it's not guaranteed that I am going to make the team indoors. We saw that firsthand when I fell at a national. So, yeah, just try to get everything together and hope for the best when that day comes.
Is David Rudisha somebody that you followed when you were a young athlete coming into the sport?
Oddly enough, no. Only because it's not personal. Only because I didn't really follow the sport. It wasn't until like my senior year in high school that I even became actually a fan of the sport and watched races and was more concerned with not just what I was doing, but what everyone else was. So in that sense, I was a little different, but I'm definitely more into what I'm doing and a student of my craft.
And same question for you, the one that called David out. If you weren't an 800 metre runner, what other part of the sport would you love to be great at?
So in between reps, I'm like getting killed at practice. These are actually the conversations me and my teammates have, so I already have my answer. I will be a high jumper. So I don't know, I just love what they do. They're so graceful at it, and that's what I'm doing.
Blanka Vlasic in the room. Okay, questions from you. If you'd raise your hand and I'll point to you. No questions? Okay, well it's bib presentation time, so we're going to present our bibs and wish all the very best to David and Archie. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to you both. So, making our way elegantly from the back of the room, we welcome our next guest, the Olympic pole vault champion for the USA, Jen Schur. So we'll just ask you first of all about the unique honour that you had yesterday of ringing the bell to, I'm down here, sorry, just so your eyes are front for the photographers. What was it like ringing the bell at NASDAQ yesterday morning? Nerve-wracking?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what to expect. but man, they exceeded my expectations there. To come in and to be a part of that and, really to set something so iconic off, that was really exciting. And the way they did it, where they kept taking pictures and then it was on the front of Times Square, like their big billboard. So they really knew how to address it and how to really make you feel special there.
Now this is almost a home from home for you as well. Last year you also took part in the street ball competition in front of Macy's. What are your hopes for tomorrow?
This is a home away from home. I'm from upstate New York, Rochester, Buffalo area. So to come to New York, it's always prideful. And we had the street vault here in front of Macy's, which was absolutely amazing. And to have a meet of such world-class athletes here in New York, I'm excited to be a part of it. And my goals for tomorrow are really to kick off the season, start it right, and hopefully jump something I'm capable of.
And between this time last year and tomorrow, you've had experimentation with different poles. Tell us about that, because it's not all gone smoothly, has it?
Yeah, I did experiment with poles. I switched from fiberglass to carbon last year, and that was a story. And then all of a sudden it broke, and that was even a bigger story. So I am now back on the fiberglass on the poles that I won the Olympics and set the world record on. So I've gone back to my original poles.
I assumed that snapping poles was something that happened periodically for all athletes. You've actually only ever had it happen once, but once is bad enough, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I had one snap right before 08 Olympics, but that was because the poles are very strong to jump on, but it's like an eggshell. Once you dent them, they'll break. And what happened is I jumped on it, and the pole came down and just hit a little screw on the standard, that the knob, to tighten the standard, it hit that. Next jump, it just blew up. So that happened in 08, and then the most recent one, that was just because of a weak pole. It just was defective.
And we were talking about the technology involved in poles. Carbon fibre is the strongest, but it doesn't really bend. So you've reverted to a combination, or?
Yeah, I reverted right back to fiberglass. And that was the poles, if you look at all the world records right now, it was set on fiberglass poles, the UCS Spirit poles. That's what Ronaldo Villani jumps on, that's what Yelena, that's what Luca, that's what I jump on.
And you're coached by your husband. There's lots of people around the room who think it'd be like trying to teach your wife to drive or something like that. How does it work? What's the dynamic like? And do you have to draw a line when you go back home at night?
Yeah, you think you've learned it after so many years, but it always gets hard. I'm one to hold grudges, so when he tells me something and I'm mad, I'll tend to take that over to the house or the next day, and he's really good at forgetting about it, but I'm not. So I've really had to work on, letting it go. He's the coach back there, and then we go to the house and I'm in charge, so that's pretty much how it works. So I give him the back pole-vault area, but I'm in charge of the house.
We're barely a year away from the Olympic Games. You're defending your title from London. You're against one of your arch rivals, Fabiana Mura, who's on home soil. What are your thoughts about how that rivalry will pan out over the next 12, 14 months?
Yeah, the pole-vault this year at the Diamond League it's got its 5 top-ranked vaulters in the world right now. So, Fabiana is a good jumper. She's also coached by her husband, so, it's kind of fun to have that in common. And, I really respect the way that she jumps and the way she approaches it. And you have Darcy Silva, who, you can never count her out. She's a very tough athlete. So you have all these people and all these respects for them. So when you come here, you know that you have to be on top of your game, because if you're not, someone else will be.
And tomorrow, and you're regular here, it's sold out in the home straight. There's a few tickets left in the back straight. There's talk of introducing a standing area. It should be a pretty lively pole vault competition, shouldn't it?
It should be. And the crowd here is definitely always involved. New Yorkers like the pole vault, and I saw that last year. And when you vaulted down the street, it's such an eye-catching event. And so I look forward to competing, and I look forward to the crowd.
And we're asking people about what's their favourite other event. You are actually a bit of an all-rounder. I can remember in that street ball, you and Mo Green were throwing t-shirts into the crowd, and you were throwing it about twice as far as him. You've got a good arm on you as well. What is your sporting background, and what are your favourite other athletic events?
I definitely grew up playing softball. I did a lot of golf. Basketball was really what I was recruited for in college. So pole vault was something that started really late, that you would not think it, because my mom tried to put me in gymnastics, and it was a disaster that she actually made me play flute because it was so bad. So, it's definitely, if you looked at my life, you would think that I should never be a pole vaulter. But that's really how good my coach is, that he made me into one. But I was an all-around athlete, and I liked, I played soccer, everything. But to actually pick a track event, I mean, javelin would be nice, but I was thinking about this when you asked that. I really would like to do, not I wouldn't like to do it, but if I was good at something, it'd be the marathon. And the reason is because I could actually sightsee. I could run around in New York and actually see things. So, I think that would be the one.
Well, 54,000 people run New York, you might find yourself getting an invitation for that. We'll take questions from you. For Jen, hands up. Yes.
Jen, after the Adidas competition tomorrow, will you do anything between now and the U.S. Championships?
Yes, right now I'm healthy and I'm jumping and it's really just ironing things out. When you're injured, that's one thing that you can't correct is bad habits. And it seems like I've been plagued with injuries the last couple of years and just things that have caused it. So right now I'm just ironing out what I haven't been able to. So it's really just perfecting my run and my technique, and it's come so far from where it was, a year ago. So, in that time frame, I'm going to train hard and just keep working on what I'm working on.
Any other questions? Marion?
Jen, we were chatting about this before. You help athletes, young vaulters in your community. If you were talking to parents about trying to get their daughters into the pole vault, what are the sports traits that you suggest?
Yeah, I always, when I speak to parents and I speak to kids, it's always try something. You never know. For me, I started pole vault at 22. I mean, who would have thought at that? But you think about it, I never would have thought to try it earlier, or maybe, someone out there might want to try long jump or javelin or pole vault or something else. You have to just try it because you don't know what you're good at. You don't know what your qualities are. And, when you find a coach, that's a good coach, stick with them. That's really how you're going to learn.
Okay, I think it's big presentation time for Jen. Good luck tomorrow. I think we're done. Thank you. Good luck, Jen. So our next guest is already making his way on stage. Hurdle star, please welcome Ali Harris. So first question is, you've had a fantastic record, but you've managed to stay a little bit under the radar, haven't you? But you're still a bit of a surprise package within the sport.
Yeah, that just comes from taking each race one race at a time. My coach, she never lets me get the big head. She always keeps me humble. So I guess that's why I managed to stay under the radar.
But you put together a win streak of almost a year, undefeated. So it's a significant 12 months that you've had, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the win streak comes with taking every race as a championship race because, I'm the new guy, the rookie, and most of these guys I've been looking up to, so I've been a little starstruck for just a minute. So every race is pretty exciting for me. So I think that's what the win streak comes from. I know a lot of people come in and they take these races as just, a prep or, a warm up. For me, I take it just as serious as a championship race. So, and I wanted to build my name, because in this sport, the wins is what helps you build a name and get you into these big meets. So I took it serious, and I think that's where the win streak came from.
And you've started this year very consistently. You've run 13.16 twice. Is that where we should be looking tomorrow?
Actually, I want to run faster than that. I'm never so set on times. It's more about execution, going out there and executing. Pre-Fontaine, we kind of focus on the technical aspects instead of just running fast. So tomorrow I just want to go out and execute my race and just run fast. So hopefully you see 13, 16, 13, 14, or something like that.
What do you think it's going to take to make the US team for Beijing? Something around that level in the final?
You know what? I don't know. Guys always show up. When these meets come, these big meets, these championship meets and making teams, guys always show up and run really fast. So Eric's running really fast, David Oliver, Jeff Porter, Jason Richardson, everyone really is a contender. So I think maybe 13-1 and higher, 13 flat, maybe 12-9.
There's almost no margin for error in a race of 13 seconds and 10 flights of hurdles to negotiate. Are you nervous on the start line? Do you feel nervous, or is that something that you left behind as a kid?
Nervous, no, but you always think, I don't really think about falling or anything that can go wrong. For for me at this stage, I guess you're right. Maybe I didn't leave it as a kid. At this stage, at the least stage, you can just focus on running fast because that's really all that matters. And that's really what you're going to get you. That's going to get you the win at the end of the day. Is you can run in between those 10 hurdles and fast. So I don't really think about what could go wrong. I really think about what could go right and what time to drop at the end of the day.
Online it says one of your hobbies is travel, and one of the places you'd like to visit is Brazil, which just happens to be where the Olympics are next year. Is this year to try and establish yourself as number one in the US, or is that for the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a goal. That's always been a goal for me, being the USA champion. We did it indoors. A lot of the guys that could have contended for the indoors championship was overseas. So outdoors really means something to me because a lot of those guys are going to show up, and this is really going to mean something for me. It's funny, I'm big on dreams. So a lot of people told me that, like, everything I've done in my life, somebody's always told me that they had a dream about me being somewhere. So actually my best friend told me that he had a dream that he was in Brazil a long time as a kid. So hopefully that means that we're going to be in the Olympics next year. So that's the main goal.
And you like to listen to rap music, you're a bit of an aficionado. Obviously the test in a room like this, where most people aren't your generation, is that we should never have heard of anything on your playlist. What's on your playlist when you're warming up?
You know what, man? Future, he's an artist from Atlanta. I'm a big fan of Lil Wayne, T.I., sometimes classical music. It can range from whatever I'm feeling like that week or that day. So.
Do you actually have it on headphones warming up? I mean, is that something that gets you ready for racing?
I would like to, but a lot of the events we go to, they don't allow the headphones. So, but usually when I'm going into the race, I just like to clear everything and just focus on the warm-up. Because the warm-up is a big part of my race. If I can go out there and just focus on that, warm up good, usually my race is pretty good.
You mentioned the 4 guys that will be contending with you for places for Beijing and probably for Rio as well. Are you friends? Are you cool? Are you aggressive with them? How are you on and off the track with those other fellas, given that 5 into 3 doesn't go?
We hold casual conversations. I mean, it's not like we're enemies, you know, so they're all good guys, you know. We'll crack jokes sometimes during the warm-up, and it's just fun for me to be around the guys that I looked up to, and knowing that I'm a rookie. But it's just an amazing feeling because these are the guys that I studied, and finally I made it to the elite group that I get to run against these guys and contend for a major championship.
Not everybody makes that NCAA to professional transition. You were USC. I mean, how have you found it? What would be your advice to athletes that are in their final year of college?
Well, for me, I was blessed to have people like Gail Devers, Ryan Wilson, a great coach who I got to talk to before actually that transition. And for me, one thing that I wanted to do going into this year is be consistent and be able to come in and compete. So talking with Gail Devers, she just told me that, you know, what I need to do is just train hard. A lot of people come in and get a little bit relaxed because they're going pro coming out of college. And for me, my training schedule has been really intense, and I've just been training hard. So I think that's what helped me with that transition from college to pro.
Final question for me is the one that we've asked everybody. I don't know if you've heard the responses. What other athletic event would you be world class at if you could choose anyone? Rudisha said 400, Archie Wilson said high jump, Jen Shura said marathon. What would you be world class at if it wasn't sprint hurdles?
Well, my coach is obviously the head coach of USC Southern Cal, and so I run with a lot of the sprint group, the mid sprint group, 100 meters, and one of the guys right now is running like 990, Andre DeGrasse from Canada, and we go head to head in practice. So I always thought that I'd be pretty good because sometimes I actually beat these guys in practice. So maybe the 100 or 200.
What's your best for 100? You must have competed in it.
You know what? This is the only event that I've ever done. I started running in my senior year of high school, and I just stuck to the hurdles. I never really got a time in the 100. So I don't know what I would run. I hope it would be pretty fast.
10-1, 10-2, something like that?
I don't know if it's that.
Okay, questions from you. Darren.
Alec, in college, what was the part of your hurdle race that you had to improve the most?
my start. Coming out of high school, I was always the guy that's last out the blocks. So my coach gave me a good technique to focus on the cue instead of focusing on the gun. So I think that's helped me a lot. And it's helped my race a lot. It took me from running 13, 14 in college to running 13-1 consistently. Talking with Alan Johnson, also who's a great friend of mine, he told me that what he focused on was his start. So that's why I kind of lean towards is the start. If I can get that together, then it'll set up my whole race.
Tony Clayton, I'm Leah. You were talking about dreams earlier. If you can get through the tough U.S. trials, what's your dream season?
My dream season would obviously be to win the Olympic gold. It's going to be tough running rounds and all those things, and I'm new, so it's going to be a new experience for me. But my dream season would be winning the Olympic gold and hopefully being a world champion, making the world championship podium. So I think that's every girl's dream. So that's why.
Any more questions? Okay, well, yes, one down there, thank you.
Hi, what are some of your other aspirations off the track?
I had a lot of talents. Like I can draw. My grandparents have a screen printer and embroidery business. So being an entrepreneur, finding a business that I want to create on my own has always been an aspiration. I haven't really that's a question that everybody always asks me. Like, what do you want to do during track or after track? I haven't really nailed it down because I feel like I can do a lot of things. But maybe going into coaching, helping kids, being a mentor, because I've been through a lot of things in my life. So those are just different aspirations.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation time. Good luck, Ali Harris. Please welcome Grant Fisher. So our big first question is, can you go sub 4 tomorrow, do you think?
Well, I had the sub 4 performance, I think, about 8 days ago, so I don't think my fitness has dropped too much, I hope. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good going into the race, so I think there's fast guys to push it pretty close to 4 minutes.
Only 7 American high schoolers have ever gone under 4 minutes. Was it a particular challenge of yours? Was it an ambition to do that before you left school?
A little bit. You know, I always thought that if I was in a race where it was competitive, that the people in the race would drag me through to a fast time if I was competing with them. And I've had a few races where I was really close, you know, 401, 402, 403, and you know, coming to the end of the season, I felt like I was peaking really well, and yeah, it happened in a perfect scenario. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a good performance here.
Would you say in your age group you actually don't need pacemakers? Because guys in their teens tend to be a little bit reckless over the first couple of laps. You've almost got pacemakers built in, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. The first 200 meters is always pretty sharp. So yeah, I mean, a pacemaker. Last year we didn't have one, and we went 402. So yeah, I think a pacemaker is great. Not exactly necessary, but I think it'll keep things honest for sure.
Have you made plans for next year yet?
Yeah, I'm going to Stanford next year.
And I've checked out your GPA, 3.97, which will mean something around the room, not from us in England. And at school you led the Winter Coat Drive. Tell us about that. You're obviously a noble citizen in Michigan.
Yeah, I'm the president of our honor society at my school, and we're involved in organizing all kinds of things for the community. And I live pretty close to an area that a lot of kids are underprivileged, so you know, in the winter it gets pretty cold in Michigan, as anyone from the north knows, and yeah, I wanted to help out, and yeah, a lot of guys from my school came together and helped out the community. It was fun.
Where has athletics fitted into your life so far? Have you been a busy student that happens to do athletics on the side, or are you an athlete that happens to have a good GPA score?
I think I'm obligated to say academics first. But
Are your parents in the room?
no, my coaches though, he'll report back. Yeah, but academics have always come first for me, and it was just recently that my athletics have really taken off. So, you know, for the rest of my life, I've always been academically inclined to do well. So, I think, especially with running, a lot of times you see the academic discipline translates really well over to athletic discipline. So, I think it's helped out both ways.
What do you hope to be doing in your 20s? Professional athlete, traveling the world? You've seen a bit of it already, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been really privileged to see all over the U.S. and some of the world already. So, you know, if that's how things come into play, then yeah, that'd be awesome to see the world and compete and do what I love. And yeah, if things work out that way, then I'd be thrilled.
And what are you studying at Stanford?
Engineering.
Are you done with high school, or is this your final week, or was it last week? Where are you at?
I've been out for maybe 3 weeks now, so it's been nice to just sleep and train and eat. And
Not bad life, is it? Okay, questions from you. Yes, this gentleman here.
I grant high schools all over the U.S. by edict of the National Association run the ridiculous distance of 1,600 meters. Totally meaningless to me and a whole lot of other people. Could you make a statement about why I hope would prefer everybody runs the 1 mile?
Yeah, I think the 1,600 has been run in high school for the simplicity of just having a 400-meter track. But you know, when I talk to my friends that aren't runners, all they really care about is someone's mile time or your marathon time. That's really all anyone knows. So telling someone your 1,600 time, nobody really cares or knows what that means. So yeah, it'd be really cool to have everything switch over to the mile. I know it's kind of not in line with international standards, but being in the U.S., I think it's pretty cool that we have the history of the mile, and especially with the 4-minute mark. Going under 4 in the 1,600 is kind of meaningless, but the extra 9 meters kind of makes a difference. So it would be really cool if everyone ran a mile.
And the 1,600 doesn't translate internationally either. So
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Grant, you came pretty close to 4 minutes before your break in. What was your first sense when you crossed the line, knowing that you had broken 4 minutes?
Yeah, when I crossed the line in St. Louis, it was really cool because the time was right next to the finish line, so there wasn't any waiting or anticipating to hear what my time was. So yeah, I was thrilled, and I finished, and Jordan McNamara was there, and I gave him a big hug, and my coach ran over, and I gave him a hug, and yeah, I was just super excited, and it was a big PR for me, and we made the trip down, and it was definitely worth it.
With you going to Stanford and with Carlos Villarreal going to Arizona, you guys running against each other tomorrow, do you feel like this could be the start of a nice little rivalry?
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of people that are going to the Pac-12 next year, Carlos being one of them, and yeah, it's going to be stacked in all of the distances. So I have friends that are going to Oregon and Washington and Colorado, and all those are Pac-12 schools. So I think the Pac-12 is going to be a very competitive conference in the next few years, and it's cool that I can meet some of my future competitors now and kind of make friendships or rivalries in that case, I guess. And it's going to be fun 4 years ahead.
And then what were your thoughts on just watching Carlos in the Prefontaine game?
I watched the replay actually. It was because I'm on the Eastern time zone, so I was asleep. But yeah, I watched the replay, and I knew going into watching the race that Carlos was going to win. I heard the results, so with a lap to go, I mean, he was still like 30 meters back, and so I was kind of doubting my source that told me he was going to win. But yeah, he's a tough competitor, and obviously he grits it out to the end, so it'll be fun racing him tomorrow.
Awesome, thanks, Grant.
Grant, you do 3:59, that you just ran in perfect conditions. What do you think you could run right now?
It kind of depends. You know, if the weather is really bad and everyone's conservative, then I think it would be kind of foolish to just break the wind for everyone and try to time trial a fast time. I'm here to compete and hopefully win. So whatever it takes, I think the quality of the field is high enough that we could run really fast, or if everyone's thinking it's going to be a kicking day, it could be a little slower, but hopefully the rapid will even things out.
You seem to be headed for a sub-4 miles. This past winter at the Armory, you had a tripping incident. Do you still have regrets over that? And do you think you would have broken 4 as, I guess, the second high school running ever to break 4 indoor?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed after the indoor race, hitting the rail at the end, but it would be different if I think I ended the season and that was the fastest I had run all in 2015. So not really any regrets. I hit the rail and it was my mistake, and I paid for it. I don't think I was on track for a sub-4 mile in that race, but yeah, that was a learning experience, and I'll stay a little farther away from the rail now.
Of course, I nearly let you away without the final question, which we've asked everybody else. If you could be world class at one other athletic discipline other than middle distance, what would it be?
One of the jumps, probably. I'll go high jump. Yeah, high jump would be cool because, you go over the bar and then you can celebrate on the way down, and then if you could jump high, you can dunk it too. So it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
And it's over quickly. Right, I think it's big presentation time. Oh, sorry, question still to come? Where am I looking?
I just thought that maybe there was questions.
I think we're done. Any more questions? No. Bib time. Good luck tomorrow, Grant Fisher.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
As advertised, it's 12:03. Please welcome from the back of the room, 6 times Olympic champion, fastest man in history at 100 and 200 metres, Usain Bolt. And we're going to start straight away with presenting Usain with his racing bib to welcome him back to New York. So I'm going to endeavour to ask you some questions that you've not been asked before, given that you've been asked a million. The first one is the one that a lot of people have asked you. New York in 2008, you've been around, you've won IWF Youth, IWF World Junior, but it was really the first time you burst into the public's consciousness. What are your recollections of New York in 2008?
Well, first thing you always remember is actually rain that day. It was a thunderstorm. For me, it was an intense race. It was a race that I was looking for throughout the season. It was the first time I was actually going to compete against a big name, which was Tyson Gay in New York. And then the race was called back, I think 3 times before it actually went on. So those are the things that I remember on that day.
And a couple of months later, you were double Olympic champion, your life changed. Are there things you miss about the 2008 Usain Bolt? Do you wish you could go back to a slightly lower profile, or are you happy with the clamour that you get?
No, I've worked hard over the years to get where I am, so I'm happy for everything, because when you work hard and you succeed in whatever you do, you're just proud of yourself, so I'm definitely happy the way that I've progressed over the years.
So we project back 8 years to your big breakthrough. In 8 years' time, what do you see yourself doing? What's life going to be like for you after track and field?
I've really thought about 8 years, but hopefully I have my young son running around. I'll be at home, chilling, watching the younger generation competing.
Over the years, we've heard about Manchester United's fastest winger, Demon fast bowler. Are they going to be things you'll return to when track and field's done?
I've said over the years that I really want to try and play some football. I don't think I would want to play at the highest level. I think just thinking about the workload after retiring, I don't really want to get all serious. Maybe just play with a smaller team, maybe So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I don't want to sort of project beyond your career because we're enjoying it at its peak at the moment, but will you be somebody that will always stay in touch with track and field? Will you coach? Will you do media? What do you aspire to?
I'll definitely be in touch with track and field some way, I'm sure. Coaching, definitely not. I've seen the struggles my coach goes through with us, so I would want to take that up. But I definitely think I will be track and field. I love to inspire kids, I love to motivate them, so I'll find some way to stay connected to the sport.
And we're about 8-10 weeks away from another World Championship. Is your form exactly where you'd like it to be right now, or are you still peaking?
No, it's not where I want it to be, but I'm getting there. Every day we're working on different things, and everything is coming together. I'm feeling better every day in training. So all I need to do now is get more races and just go and execute pretty much.
The meeting's pretty much sold out. The home straight has been sold for weeks. There's a huge Jamaican support contingent there. Is that something that's important to you, to have expat fans?
Yeah, I knew as soon as we agreed that coming to New York, I knew there was going to be a lot of Jamaican crowds. They're always here to support the Jamaicans. They come out in their thousands. So for me, I always appreciate that. It's like second home for me. So I know it's going to be wonderful. I know it's going to be loud. I know the energy is going to be great. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
And usually at a championship, you do the round to the 100, the round to the 200, and then you can look forward to the relay, where Jamaica have been pretty much unstoppable. That Jamaican team's not looking like it used to. There's athletes out injured, there's others coming through. What are your thoughts on the Jamaican 4x1 team for Beijing?
Well, the guys early in the season weren't the best, I think, fitness-wise. But I think let's give everybody time. I think everybody aims towards the World Championship. So when it comes around, as you say, 11, 12 weeks, I think everybody be ready to go. Looking forward to see the trials, to see who's ready, who's going to make the team. So I'm not worried, so we'll see what happens. So.
It's quite a light-hearted approach that Jamaican sprinters bring to the track. You're not too intense, you've almost sort of invented that whole coolness on the start line. Practice-wise, do you get together and practice? It looks like you possibly don't.
We don't practice as much as most teams, but I think for some reason we always get the baton around safe because that's always a key thing. But we should practice more, I think, but it's just one of those things. What do you think is the ultimate for a 4x1 team? If everybody got their act together, how much quicker could the world record go? If we practice as much as Britain team does, I think it will be. I don't know. I never try to guess times, but I think it'll be pretty quick because we'll be much smoother through the baton changes and stuff. So I think it will definitely be very quick. And you're just about a year away from your third Olympic Games, so your third Olympic Games as a defending champion. What are your thoughts? Is that the finish line for you to cement your reputation as a legend and then step away, or? Well, I said over the years, definitely it's going to be my last Olympics, but I think I'll retire at the World Championships in London. But for me, the Olympics is going to be one of the biggest things in my career. To do it 3 times, no one has ever really attempted to have done it 3 times. So for me, to get this opportunity, I'm definitely looking forward to it. The closer I get, the more excited I get. So for me, it's just going to be something that I know I've been looking for years. I'm going to work hard. There's going to be a lot of sacrifice next season. I'm going to be really dedicated to getting it done. So I'm looking forward to Rio next year. Do you feel just as motivated as you did in your teens and 20s, Gay and Gatlin and people like that, keep you going? Definitely, competition does keep me going. I've said over the years that I live and I strive off competition. I look forward to competing against the best. So for me, that does help me keep motivated. But I also know what I want in the sport and what I aim for. So I always work true and work my best to get to the top, to stay on top really. So my focus is there, and as I said, I'm looking forward to it next year. You're number 2 all-time at 300 metres, behind Michael Johnson, I think. There was always speculation about whether you could run a really great 400 and whether you could do a really great long jump. Are those gone forever, or are those things you might one day have a look at? 400 definitely out. So I've said to my coach that I really want to run 300 next season, so hopefully I'll be in shape so I can try that and see if I can break the world record over 300 meters. And the long jump, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Maybe I'll try, maybe I won't, but I'm not stressing about that right now.
Probably in 2008, when you did a lap of honour, everybody asked for an autograph. These days, everybody wants a selfie on their phone, don't they? Are you the world expert on selfies now?
I wouldn't say that, but for one thing I know, a lap of honour takes a long time now to get around because everybody wants a selfie. It takes forever, and some people don't really know to take a selfie, so it takes a little bit longer than usual.
Do you mind all that, or do you just have to put on your public face and just get through it? Does it really get on your nerves some days?
No, definitely not. I think people come out to see you, especially people stand in the rain most of the time. Like I was in the shower and it was raining, it was cold, and they stayed throughout everything. So for me, I really appreciate that. So it's my way of saying thanks for coming out to support it. So for me, I try to take as much as possible, or just to sign as much autograph as possible, just to say thanks for coming out to support it. Really.
Final question from me before we go open. We've asked everybody that's come on stage, if you could be world class at another athletics discipline other than the ones that you do, what would it be? What would you like to do other than sprints and relay?
I've always been fascinated by the 110 hurdles for some reason. I've always joked with Parchment, which is the hurdles guy in Jamaica, that I could take him. And I've always practiced, well, not practiced, but just fool around with hurdles. And I train it, but my coach doesn't like it. So.
What could you do if you had to in a race?
I don't know. He said I couldn't do it because my steps are too big, so I couldn't generate enough speed in between the hurdles and stuff. He was explaining to me, so.
So you retired? You retired from
I retired before I started.
Okay, questions from you. If you put your hand up and say who you are, where you're from, please. Larry, we'll start with you by tradition.
Larry here with Running Network. So what are we expecting from you in the 200 tomorrow? What are your goals?
Well, for me, like I said in the Strava, I definitely like to get on 20 seconds now. It's my third one, so I'm definitely feeling in good shape. We're working on the turn, most of all. I think we're working on my technique, so we're going to focus more on my technique. But as I said, I just definitely like to get on 20 seconds.
Hi, William Maloney from North Avenue Nation. You saying, what would be your message to younger athletes, and what goals or aspirations do you think they should look to?
Well, for me, it's just enjoy what you do. I think a lot of people try to get into track and field because a lot of people sometimes they don't really want, like their parents might push them towards track and field because they did sports. I think you should enjoy whatever you do. Strive for the best. Remember that hard work is the key to anything. I've gone through it over the years, and in this sport you always get injuries. It's all about the dedication and the want, I would say, how much you want it. So just be dedicated to the sport and just continue working hard.
Dan McQuaid, Flowholics.com. You're saying as you get older, are there things that you do in the weight room now that you didn't have to do when you were younger to keep your strength up?
No, I haven't really changed much in the weight room. I think the only thing I've added is that I've done a lot of different exercises for my hamstrings and my back. I've added more over the years. I think the older I get, I have more reps. But in the weight room wise, I haven't really changed much.
Yeah, Richard.
Ron Flatter with RSN Australia. Your rivalry with Justin Gatlin, or maybe the lack of it since you guys aren't meeting. What are your thoughts about Gatlin? Are you paying attention to what he does? And what's the thoughts about the fact you're taking separate paths with AJ?
For me, it's hard not to see what he's doing because he talks a lot, he says a lot. So for me, I definitely see what he's doing, but for me, I never worry. I have 12 weeks to get ready for the World Championships, and that's what I'm focused on. I'm just coming back from a rough season last season, so I'm just trying to work my way back into shape, work my way back up the ladder, and I'm sure as soon as when I get to Beijing, I'll be ready to go. So I'm looking forward to the competition.
Usain has to be at his next appointment in 15 minutes' time. There'll be no one-to-one, so this is your opportunity. And the fella in the red shirt that's too long that I missed last time, yeah, go.
All right, you're saying Justin has
this year, they've seen as, let's say, the fastest villain in track and field. Do you relish your role as track and field? Good guy, you see yourself as in sports, what's that?
For me, I don't know what people see me as, but for me, I try to. A villain, I've never heard that. For me, I try to uplift the sport as always. I try to do my best. I always try to promote the sports in different ways. So for me, I just do my best for the sport because I love what I do, and I'll continue to do what I do. So it's good to have a villain, as they said, and so we'll see if I'm a good guy.
Okay, yes, through there.
You haven't run the 200 under 20, I think since more than 2013, already done. Does that mentally give you, generally speaking, a problem? Like, do you feel like you don't know if you can run again that after so many years, after 2 years, almost 2 years?
No, definitely not. I'm just had really bad seasons. In 2011, I never ran really fast throughout the season. I ran 9.9 all season. So I think when it comes to the championship, everything always comes together for me. It's rough throughout the season, but one-off runs for me are always ways of trying to figure out what I need to work on, what I need to get done. So for me, I never worry. I know I'm going to get on 19 seconds in time. It's just 20-second time. It's just all about the work that I put in and the effort that I put in training. So I'm in no worry at all. I know the shape I'm in and I know the work I'm putting in, so I'll be okay.
Chap in the grey shirt, yes. Yes.
Hi, I was actually previously in Japan. It's been 6 years since you set the world record, and what keeps you motivated, challenged each year?
Just the goals that I've set for myself. I have two more main goals that I want to get. One is really big. I think the hardest one is trying to get on 19 seconds. I really want to run so 19 seconds. And winning the Olympic 3 times. So for me, those are my two big goals. So that's what keeps me going. Keeps me motivated. So next season for me is going to be a big season, but I got to take it a step at a time. So looking forward to Beijing first.
Yes, here.
Obviously, you're concentrated on every race that you run, but I'm curious, you talked about competition and wanting to face the best and beat the best. When you're facing a guy that you either know to have done some sort of drugs or think he may have done some sort of drugs, does that make you more motivated to beat him, or do you look at the race and say, I don't even want to be part of the race?
No, for me, I've said over the years, for me, there are rules. Everybody, the rules set. Someone is taking drugs and the IWF sees if it's banned in 2 years, 1 year, or whatever, I guess it's the rules. I got to deal with it. So for me, I just try to focus on what needs to be done at that moment. I never try to focus on one person because on that day, you never know who's going to show up. So I go out there ready to go at all times. So I never just focus on one person.
10 minutes left. Let's try and get everybody's questions.
When I get out there, I try to be as relaxed as possible. That's why I'm laughing around a little bit and chill. But once the starter says on your mark, I can really be focused really quick. Just over the years, I know what I'm there to do. I know what needs to be done. So for me, as soon as the starter says on your mark, I'll be focused and I know exactly what I'm on there to do. So I just do it pretty much.
What have you been doing in your time in New York, and is coming here different than there's just another stop on the circuit?
What I've been doing, just work pretty much. I've had some sponsors stuff to do yesterday. I had training. That's pretty much it. I had some interviews and stuff. But for me, meets are just routine for me. But I enjoy coming to New York because as I said, it's like a second home because there's so much Jamaicans here, so I know I get a lot of support. So I'm just ready to go, roll out tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Do you have American teams that you follow? Have you got an NFL or a basketball team that you follow?
I definitely watched a lot of basketball. I'm a Kevin Garnett fan, so now he's back at Minnesota. He's not playing a lot, so I don't really. But I do follow basketball.
Madam, yes. Yes.
Hi, Nico from NBC Japan. Quick question on you, the Japanese sprinter is supposed to be here, but in your past thing, he was really looking forward to being in a race with you. Do you have a comment on his 9.87 record in the Texas relay and any physical or mental advice to overcome injuries?
Well, for me, I'm always happy when new athletes find their strides and start stepping up. It's always good to see athletes really do work paying off, and I know what they go through to try to be the best. So for me, it's always great seeing different athletes step up. And when it comes to injuries, I think one of the hardest things is to actually start running again. So for me, my advice would just be trust yourself. Do the rehab that you have to do, but when it comes to get back on the track, you just gotta trust yourself and just put your all into it, because most of the time when you get injured, when you come back on the track, you're really nervous. You don't really want to push yourself because you don't want to get injured again. But I've learned over the years that you just gotta trust yourself and trust your coach and your whole team, the medical team that helps you to get back on the track and just run. Just do your best.
Gentleman on the end.
The same. Roland Hyde from Nib School. She feels with Jamaican pride at this time. I want to ask you, what message do you have for the overwhelming gathering of Jamaican fans at Icon Stadium on Saturday?
For me, as I said, I know it's going to be a lot of Jamaicans there. Probably the whole stand is going to be Jamaicans. So I always love the support. I always thank them for coming out to support, and I always try to put on a show for them. So I just want to tell them thanks for buying out the stadium, thanks for coming out to support. I'll always do my best, not just in New York, but at the World Championships and other meets to come. So just thanks for the love, really.
Yes.
Sandra Edwards-Smith with Great Republic Shelley. We know you're a great representative to Jamaica for Little Rock. Can you tell me in your own words how you felt meeting the president when he came to Jamaica?
For me, it was one of those moments that I never thought would happen in your lifetime. I remember when my friend Nugent Walker told me we might be able to meet the president. I was like, cool, I was playing it cool, but when I actually met him, it was a different situation. I was dumbstruck. I didn't know really what to say to the president of the United States. So for me, it's one of those moments that puts you in awe, and it was wonderful, and I really enjoyed just having a small talk with him, and he knew me pretty well, and he knew my pose, so that was cool.
Excellent.
About 4 minutes left, yes, starting there.
Have you changed anything in your technique since the last Olympics?
I want to say yes, but I know you're going to ask what. I'm not too sure exactly how to answer the other question, so when you see my coach ask him that question, I don't know how to answer that question.
Got 4 minutes left. We've got our first question from an athlete. Isabel Pooley is in the high jump tomorrow on her debut in the US.
I wanted to ask from an athlete's point of view, how your mindset changes coming from the winter into the season and throughout the season. Do you feel like once you started the season, you're competing more, training less, and you just kind of enjoy the ride, so to speak, or do you feel the pressure build towards the major champs?
Well, for me, I think in the winter when we're training, for me, when it comes around to the season, it's the best time of my life. As you said, we train less. So for me, I look forward to when the season starts because I get to travel to all the meets and I get to train less, and it's not as intense as it usually is throughout the season. So for me, I look forward to this part of the season. It's much more relaxing because I tell people the hard part is training. The easy part is competing for me. I really enjoy competing. I know if I'm in good shape that I'm going to do well, so it's never a stress. So for me, it's easy transition, and I look forward to this part of the season.
So they're saying, if your coach came to you and said, we need you to run the 4x4, what would your response be?
No. I think if I'm in good shape, 4x4 sure. I would go down because I know I can run a good 4x4 if I'm in great shape. So if he says 4x4, I would do it.
2, possibly 3 questions left. Yes, this gentleman here.
A lot of people say, back to the one, that you have the potential to maybe run in the 42s. If you end your career and never have even run a serious 400 meters, would that be something you're sorry about?
Me? Everybody knows me, knows I won't feel any way about 400 meters. I've been over that for years now. I've got past it. People really want me to do it, but it's not going to happen.
Could you run a 42?
I don't know. I think if I really trained for it, I think I could be really good. Because in high school, when I was really training for it, I ran 45 low. And I think if Jeremy Gonzalez did not pull up in that race itself, I probably would have run 44 as a junior. So for me, it could have been great, but we'll never know.
You've had a reasonable consolation, haven't you, at 100 and 200 over the years. Okay, we've got time for maybe 2 more questions. Who hasn't asked one yet? Anybody not asked one? Yes, at the back there.
The Geneva trial will in 2 weeks' time. Will you be running and what?
I don't know. I think my coach will determine after this meet if I need to run at the national trials. So we'll see what happens at this one. If he needs me to work on anything or if we need to just get runs in. So he will determine that after this meet.
Last question goes to the man in the hat. No pressure, but it's the last question. The glory leg. Away you go.
So, after the defeat in the 4x1 at the World Relays, does that steel your resolve to avenge that in the World Championships?
Well, it was 4 of us, so I can't say that alone. But I think my team was happy. I definitely know they're used to winning, so I definitely think throughout the season we will watch and see. But the trials will determine how the 4x1s will look and if the guys who normally run the team will be on the team this year. So we'll see what happens. It should be a good trials, and then we just move on from there and watch throughout the season. But we'll definitely want to take revenge. And as I said, it's good for the sport. We haven't been beaten in like 7 years, so it should be exciting to see the World Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're done. A vote of thanks and good luck to Usain Bolt.
By the way, that was a weak clap.
Okay, just stay seated for a moment, if you please.